Welcome everybody to a brand new season of the Ligier European Series, heading into a fourth campaign that we've been able to bring you live as part of our continuing coverage of the European Le Mans Series weekend, and this now a crucial part of the ACO rules ladder to really guide drivers, talent into the way of this type of racing, and then potentially to be elevated towards the Michelin Le Mans Cup, the European Le Mans Series, and ultimately, I suppose, the World Endurance Championship. But so many of the drivers that will be competing over the next 60 minutes have their eyes firmly set on the 24 hours of Le Mans as well. And don't forget that build-up, in fact a week before the 24 hours of Le Mans in June, there will be a chance to race on the 8.5 mile circuit on the 8th of June, the weekend before. Qualifying took place yesterday, two separate sessions with different drivers involved, and Ico Segre will start on the front row for ANS Motorsport. Ico, a real star from last year as well, certainly looking to try and get the championship in 2025. We got Vic Stevens, new to the game though, with the Team Virage number 27. These are all the JS P4 cars, so the prototype-derived machines. Romain Buchler and Christian Brooks for Loire Valley and 360 competition next. And then it's Vincent Boutellier for Trajectus Motorsport, Hamda Al-Kubaizi for Team Virage. And moving back to 12th place overall is where we find the JS2 R Ligiers, LR Motorsport and Simone Riccitelli taking the first pole position of the season there. The morning race, there's another one after the lunch break incidentally, so car 7 will start from the pole position alongside Lucas Papin for VSF Sports in car number 18. Then it's August Turbo and Noé de Cunha in a return from last year's championship. 23 Events Racing are a new outfit though, number 57, alongside the long-standing La Douce Arbe, number 50. I've not had a chance to run through the whole grid, but it is now cycling through on your screen, because let's introduce the team for 2025. It's basically the same as last year. Johnny Palmer on this side of our booth, and Graham Goodwin, the editor of dailysportscar.com, is over there.
Yeah, it's a crushingly disappointing level of stability for the listeners and viewers. Great grid of 26 cars for the Ligier European Series, and we mark two achievements for the Nicolet family today. One is their team that's put together this great grid, the biggest full-season grid we've seen in the short history of the Ligier European Series, and also happy birthday to my apologies, it's a 17th place car, 12th in JS P4, Jacques Nicolet, 69 years young today, and will start his number 58 JS P4 from HP Racing by M Racing, and he'll start from 17th place on the grid, but it looks like we're just about ready to go, Johnny.
So it is a straight 60 minutes. You must make a pit stop regardless of whether you've got one or two drivers. That's at some point between 27 minutes into the race and 34 minutes into the race. So a 7-minute pit window. We'll run you through the minimum pit stop times when we get there. It's a long wait until they get to the start line, which is beyond the control line. But we burst into life with the 2025 Ligier European Series. It is a good getaway with that white, black and gold number 6 car of ANS Motorsport for Ico Segre, although showing intentions around the outside but running out of brakes. The brakes will be cold, therefore having to take to the escape road. That is Vic Stevens in the number 27 Team Virage car. Another one having to take that route as well, and we've got a spinner mid-pack, Graham.
It's one of the number 88 car, and that is Hamda Al-Kubaizi in the number 88 Virage car. 3 Virage cars here, but only 2 of them in the regular and much expected grey, orange and yellow colours. Number 1 car in blue and white this season, defending champions of course, Team Virage, but away and clear the number 6 car. It's Loire Valley Racing and Romain Buchler on the team's debut, and it's through into second, but Hamda Al-Kubaizi is struggling to get this car moving.
I think she may have stalled it, or it's beached, so it's stranded in the middle of the track. That's not ideal for race control, clearly. Might give her a few more seconds in order to get that car pointing in the right direction, but it might be that we have to go into an immediate safety car to deal with that stranded number 88. There have also been dramas for August Turbo, who started right towards the front end in the top 6 in number 57, but Turbo's been heavily delayed and heading through our top 6 in JS2R, but nevertheless that's a number number of places dropped in the GT-derived class, and Hamda is going again. So Hamda Al-Kubaisi not going to cause an early safety car. Well done to her for getting the car restarted. There's plenty of bodywork already starting to be flapping, stripped away very slightly from the rear of a couple of cars. But thankfully, as they sweep across the line to complete the first lap of the season, a clear road ahead and a really good battle between Ico Segre and Roman Buckler for ANS and Loire Valley.
And also a great battle behind for third place between Team Virage's Vic Stevens and Vincent Boutillier for Trajected Motorsport. There's the number 19 car, very neatly presented by team owner Benoit Treluet. What a great thing to have, that multiple Le Mans winner here as a team owner in the Ligier European Series. Multiple cars side by side. JS2 R, meanwhile, Johnny.
For the lead, Lucas Papin in the bright green car, fighting for second place, because Noah de Cunha in the half dark blue and half white car in third position loses out for second spot. So Lucas Papin not able to hang on to the coattails quite yet of Riccitelli. They're not far away. Big squirm there, though, from the green and white car, and a really good dice at the head of the order between Ico Segre, who was massively in defensive mode into turns 1, 2 and 3 at the start of the second lap, because Roman Buckler, having made that mistake, is now cleaning up the lines. Actually, it wasn't Buckler who made the mistake, it was Vic Stevens in the 27 Team Virage car on the opening lap. Stevens losing a place as a result, but now starting to establish the 27 Virage yellow, orange and black car in that third position. Then a gap back to Vincent Boutillier for the first of the Trajectus Motorsport cars. There are in fact 3 Trajectus cars, 2 of which run in JS2R, 1 in the JS P4s, and that car number 19 is in 4th position. But nothing to complain about. The fight at the head of the order, keeping us guessing with every corner. Just 0.3 of a second through the last split between Ico Segre and Roman Buckler.
And Roman Buckler, this is statement of intent, isn't he? Junior winner in the junior category in the Ligier JS Cup France. And this his first go in the JS P4 in race conditions. He's right there with one of the established order from last year. So we've got a 3-car battle here, the 4, the 60 and the number 3 car. This is the battle for 7th place. Battling up and down the order in the early stages here, Johnny. This bodes well for the season.
It does. Too right. Pietro Ferri that was, who had to take to the curb because it was 3 abreast in the braking area. But there's the lead change with Roman Buckler now ahead of Ico Segre. But Segre's not going to take that line down. Still got a fair bit of speed. This was the 3 abreast moment. So Ferri in the number 3 car. Did they all get through? The meat in the sandwich is the number 60. That livery's been taken from a JS2R car into a JS P4 for Iron Links by M Racing. And Matteo Pianazzola, who was one of the real pacey guys in JS2R last year, now having to adopt a slightly different driving mentality in these very aero-efficient prototype cars.
Early pit stopper for the number 16 Pegasus Racing JS P4 in the hands of David Cossonel. And meanwhile, fastest lap of the race may well be about to go to Roman Buckler, but at the moment is in the hands of Hamda Al-Kubaisi as she pushes to recover from that first lap spin.
So that's a problem for Cossonel, because it's far too early to be pitting for the regular stop, and some drivers will need to switch, others will stay on board, and there is a slight adjustment to the amount of time you have to be in the pit lane because of that. This is the David Cossonel Pegasus Racing number 16 then, and where is the major area of concern?
It's in the cockpit. They're looking at the cockpit. So fastest lap of the race now, and it's a mighty 1:46.0 from Roman Buckler. He's into the lead of this race and pulling away from Ico Segre.
Still that damage from the rear of the 12 car for Luis Carlos Perez. And the ASM Motorsport, therefore, had 1 or 2 nibbles taken from the rear deck. So that's flapping away, but not too much of a distraction. The all-black car is the 360 competition of Christian Brooks, as we remind ourselves as to what happened at the start of the race. And the outbraking from the number 27, first of all, into line behind Ico Segre, and then running out of brakes because, well, it's cold tyres more so than brakes. So the 27 given the instruction in the driver's briefing, as was the 33 went through the gravel trap, but you have to take to the escape road if you don't make it into the first corner within the white lines. That makes the rejoin nice and safe. And yeah, there was all manner of things going on there. The 33, which is the 360 car of Christian Brooks, skating through the gravel. Still haven't got a clear picture of precisely why Hamda Al-Kubaisi had the spin.
She had a bit of a stumble coming into turn 2, but then the side-by-side contact, I think, with the Nielsen racing car of Ben Casely. I think that was the car. It was a black and silver car, or dark coloured and silver car, and I think it might well have been the number 4 car, Ben Casely. But it looked to me as if Hamda had already checked up with perhaps a bit of a moment, whether that was by herself or with another car involved. It was certainly busy, wasn't it, through turn 1?
Yeah, so the 33 is the one with a bit of a chunk missing from the rear left corner. The flapping on the 12 is actually not the rear section of the car, it's just the number panel, I think. So maybe side-to-side contact for the 12 on the opening lap. Here comes the number 33, though, the 360 Racing, and Christian Brooks very late on the brakes to dive bomb the 12 car of Luis Carlos Perez, and that's a good overtake, and Matteo Pianazzola might be able to benefit from that as well in the number 60 car. Tighter through turn 3, and Pianazzola will go through as well.
Absolutely. The number 33 car, you say 360 competition now, up into 4th place for Christian Brooks, but it is the same team as 360 Racing were in the European Le Mans Series and the Ligier European, the Michelin Le Mans Cup of past years. That was the move, neat and tidily done. Just braver under braking there.
Yeah.
But in defence of the position lost, if you like, then lost a further position. Roman Beckler, by the way, another fastest lap of the race, well into the 145s now, and pulling away 2.1 seconds ahead of the race.
Used a bit of the pit lane exit road. As long as you're not entirely in there, as in the cars cross the line completely, that's generally fine. It is the racetrack, so straddling that line, no issues whatsoever. And Christian Brooks now looking to try and close the gap to Vincent Boutellier up ahead. Pianazzola making that move as well. And what's going on here? All sorts of things.
That was side by side, the 3 and the 4. It's Pietro Ferri on Ben Casely, and looking again, by the way, at that car, I'm going to correct myself. It was not the Nielsen racing car that was in the problems earlier.
That's an issue, surely, for the 27, which just did not pick up pace for Vic Stevens, and Vic's going to pit, in fact, so that was a pickup problem maybe coming out of turn 12. I don't think Vic had a moment, it was just there was no power all of a sudden, so a moving chicane for everybody else to have to try and avoid, and they did well.
It's a 3rd pit stopper, actually, because also on pit lane, the 74 Loire Valley Racing JS2 R with Carl Pedrazza is also on pit lane. All 3 too early, as Johnny said just a little earlier, for that to be the regular pit stop. That is a 7 minutes window from 27 minutes into the race.
Yes, into 34 minutes into the race, so 26 minutes to go, and that it's just about getting your pit stop started at that point. It can extend beyond 34 minutes, but you have to be across the line at pit in by that stage. Teammates from Trajectus Racing are at very close quarters. Earlier yesterday I was spectating on some of their practice sessions, and these cars seem to be permanently together as well. So Nicolas Markovits in the 84 car ahead of Martin Lacquemin in the 83 car. So they're matching each other stride for stride, really. And a good yardstick for one another. This will put them into 7th and 8th places in JS2R, ultimately trying to hunt down Simone Riccitelli, who's having a decent race so far, almost a 2-second advantage over Lucas Papat in the green VSF Sports entry.
Meantime, Ben Casely looking to make his way by Matteo Pianazzola. This is for 6th place, the 60 and the 4, side by side. Casely tries the outside, but that leaves the door open for another attack from the number 3 car, and that position comes back to the number 3 from LR Motorsport, Pietro Ferri. Just does Ben Casely up the inside as he looked for a way around the outside of the 60.
Some real good racecraft being employed this early on. The incident on the first lap, which did involve the spin for Hamda Al-Kubaisi, is going to be looked at. No cars actually listed, so that doesn't help us out as to whether there was a contact with the 88. That was definitely a car that was involved. We were trying to identify the others, but race control will have better views of it. The number 3 car then of Ferry looking a bit second-hand on the rear. Ferry's already been in that 3 abreast moment into the first corner a few laps ago, and since then some cracking fighting with Ben Casely and Nielsen. A little too close for comfort at times. Way out in the marbles there, heading through turn 4, that U-bend into this tricky approach into turn 5, which is downhill, but nicely cambered, as in it delivers you right into the apex of the corner. It's important to get a good exit through the kink at 6 and then into 7 and 8.
Yeah, meanwhile, we have had a couple of shots of the 27 on pit lane. That car with attention under the engine cover, the rear of the 27 Virage car. As this group stuck in, and after being under attack from Ben Casely just a lap ago, Matteo Pianazzola has made his way forward, is now trying to get onto terms with the number 12 car.
Done it. He got through on the braking there for turn 10, and very little defence actually offered by Perez Cabello. So the ASM Motorsport car maybe just going to follow Pianazzola for a little while, work out where Matteo is a touch faster, but he's going to have to try and stick with him for the young Italian for the time being, because Pianazzola is up the road and gone, and now all of a sudden Perez Cabello is into the clutches of the 2 cars behind, so Pietro Ferri and Ben Casely starting to reel him in.
We're 13 minutes in, and this is, you know, one of those points, Johnny, these drivers moving up into endurance racing for their first step on this ladder, and realising they've got to dig deep. There's a long way to go in this 60-minute race. And it's looking after the car and themselves, particularly for the drivers we've got. And I think there were 6 of them in this field that are going to be solo drivers this season.
Maybe slightly more than that, actually. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on the latest entry list. Yeah. Well, although it's been a fluid beast, the entry list, as now down the inside goes Ben Casely on Pietro Ferri. So this gaggle of cars switching positions left, right and centre, and that's actually taken a bit of pressure off Luis Carlos Perez now in the ASM Motorsport car. Still doesn't quite have the speed to match Pianazzola in the 60 Iron Lynx by M Racing car, which is just rounding the right-hander at turn 9.
He's away from that group now, isn't he? But not catching the car ahead of him at the moment. Christian Brooks in the 360 competition car, quicker at the moment than the next car in the order. And, well, inside, outside. Which way by will the number 3 choose next?
Well, got underneath Ben Casely, but then ran out of road effectively, just braked that little bit too late, so had the position for a corner. Ben Casely read the situation perfectly and took the wider approach into turn 10 and then swept back in front of Pietro Ferri as they exited.
If you're watching this group, Johnny, I can tell you that Roman Berkler is still pulling away, not at a massive margin. He's 3.3 seconds clear now and still quicker on the last lap than Nico Segre. As up the inside, Ben Casely takes that position. So will the Nielsen Racing driver now be able to pull away? He's going to want to do that because this is a tight-knit little group. We've seen Pianazzola get by and move away. That's the gap he's managed to pull out. Now up the inside of the number 12. The number 3 looking to do that. No way through there. Casely now will be looking to get his head down and get on with things.
Lucas Papa in the JS2 R division, side by side again, by the way, in JS P4 at turn 5, and some contact as well to boot. But Papa has not given up on wrestling the lead back from the GT type cars from Simone Riccitelli. He's just done the fastest lap in JS2R, and the gap's down to 1.4 seconds to Riccitelli.
So quarter of the race done. Plenty of action in the first 15 minutes. Ben Casely is managing to just pull away from the number 17, the number 12 car. But his gap now to Pianazzola, who was all over, 3-4 laps ago, is, what is that? That is 5 seconds.
Matteo Pianazzola's car's now under investigation, however, for not following instructions right at the start of the race. So that was at turn 1, where there is an escape road we've told you about, and you have to go to the left-hand side of some bollards, assuming the bollards are still there, of course. There are instructions if they've been removed this early on in the race.
This is the tap. There you go.
Yeah.
And it was more the number 12 car just losing grip. I don't think there was any intent there at all. I think he was trying to hold his line and just ran out of grip. There was a bit of a kiss from the right rear of the number 12 car on the number 3, but that positional change has now happened.
Well, Luis Carlos Perez in the 12 car has no number panel on the left-hand side. He's now had that contact on the right-hand side with Pietro Ferri, and Ferri down the inside of turn number 1. A neat and tidy manoeuvre to get the place. That will be 7th position for the LR Motorsport entry then, car number 3. And it might be that he's able to then resume the battle with Ben Casely, although Ben's got a few car lengths on this fight for 7th behind.
I would say, by the way, 2 of the 3 cars we have on pit lane have rejoined the race. Pegasus Racing's number 16, Yuki Tanaka, has taken that car out. So David Cosanel has come in. Yuki Tanaka has taken the car over, but that will not count as their obligatory stop. Also back into the action, Loire Valley Racing, number 74, in the hands of Carl Pedrazza. He has rejoined. 5 minutes on pit lane for him. It was 7 minutes for Yuki Tanaka's number 16 car. That was another side-by-side bit of contact. 757 car and the 84.
Yeah, so August Turbo, who started within the top 6, I seem to remember, in the JS2 R division. So Riccitelli leading that and taking pole position. So first, second, third. Yeah, Turbo qualified 3rd and has just had a terrible start to the race. He's got back up to 8th position, but I expect August Turbo to have some good speed now to find his way maybe back to the top 6 by the end.
I think he was one of a number of JS2Rs that had problems getting through the Hamza Al-Kabazi moments. That's what I think cost him time. The 27, the Team Virage still working on this car. They've not given up the possibility of at least getting some mileage in here. Meaningful points finish is probably in the rearview mirror now, but every lap is valuable, particularly if you've got new drivers to this championship. 22 car there making its way through back markers.
Almost a gap there beyond the slightly slower car. I say slightly advisedly because the JS2Rs are certainly not hanging around, but clearly the JS P4s have deliberately more performance.
So that was our race leader, Romain Butler, who, by the way, even in traffic is still extending that lead. Meantime, 84 and the 17, Miguel Angel Romero in the Petrogol car, I think.
Yeah, 17, a Spanish outfit, so kicking their season off with a home race, Chefo Sport. There's been a decision regarding Matteo Pianazzola. It's going to be a 5-second time penalty added to the pit stop because he left the track and then gained advantage. So I suppose gained a place. That's been looked at again. Yeah, so now the same car's under investigation for a potential collision at turn 2, also on the first lap.
Well, was that? He was well ahead, wasn't he? Of
you're suggesting maybe was the 60 car involved with the 88 of Hamda Al-Kubaisi, but yeah, they were in different positions from
unless it was that there was a moment out of our sight that caused the off. And that was the advantage he drew. We did see him leave the track and go to the escape road. Did he rejoin too early? That's often the offence that draws the attention of race control.
Yeah. Well, if he's causing a collision at turn 2, you shouldn't actually be back on the track at turn 2. You rejoin on the very outside of turn 3. But clearly a bit of a list to be working through regarding the iron links by M Racing car.
Yeah, well, I know you met our race director for the Ligier European Series.
Yes.
For the first time this weekend.
Pauline Scoff, who starts her 4th season as being the race director.
It's been busy.
Yes, indeed. So for her team of stewards, it could be extending throughout the morning to sort all this out and give us an official result later on in the day.
It's an entry-level championship, Johnny, as well, and a multi-class entry-level championship. You know, there's two jobs, aren't there, really? There are rules they need to be adhered to, but also it is about making sure that people understand the reasons for those rules to be enacted in the way that they are. So the role of a race director at this level, absolutely no different in some regards, but in terms of the way that that's communicated to the drivers and to the teams, there's a skill in that.
Yeah, and it's all part of the learning process. So this is, again, a great reason to be involved with the Ligier European Series for a couple of seasons, perhaps. And then those with real talent, real pace, get the opportunity, if they can win this, perhaps first time around, if not second season, and then get that springboard into something like the Michelin Le Mans Cup. And in the case of Julien Henrion, just continue to win back to back.
And we've got a number of drivers. We'll talk about some of them as the weekend progresses that have moved on to the Michelin Le Mans Cup and to the European Le Mans Series. Number of drivers that have served their time, if you like, here in the Ligier European Series, and for that matter, teams as well.
Simone Riccitelli, having completed 12 laps, remains the leader in JS2 R. He does have the slight complication of Hamda Al-Kubaisi recovering now and about a second behind, but once she can get by in the 88 car, it will mean that Lucas Papin again will have clear line of sight.
Oh, trouble.
That's one of the Trajectors cars, is it not, off the road? Looks like the right paint scheme, the white and the kind of bronze roof. And Nicholas Markovits, maybe. 84. Yeah, 84 to the outside of the number 33 all-black 360 car, and this is going to be quite a high-speed impact into the tyres.
Immediately broke suspension or steering arm on the right-hand side of the JS2R, and he had nowhere to go at that point.
It's the approach to turn 9, which is a very fast right-hander. And so often there are incidents coming out of that corner if cars run a little bit wide and off onto the curb, or worse, the gravel. But that was way before the corner because of side-to-side contact, breaking something on the 84 and pitching him into actually the plastic blocks that protect the tyre wall beyond.
The gravel trap did a good job in just slowing the car up, because that could have been a very high-speed impact without that. Good example, isn't it, to show just exactly what composes a Class 1 circuit, the safety provisions that are put in place. So whilst there's damage to the car, driver able to get away from the wreck, has done. The 33 and the 60 now together. Christian Brooks has been caught now by Matteo Pinizzola, in no small part because of that incident, I'm sure.
We have double yellow at T9, double yellow at T9. We will remove the car from the gravel at T9, so double yellow at T9.
There is Pauline, in fact, Pauline Scoff, our race director.
I think that's the first time we've heard Pauline, and that's great to hear. Now, that implies that Pauline is going to look to remove the car under double yellows. There you go. Yeah. And you saw immediately the damage to the front right corner of that car, and a horrible impact. But it did eat up the energy, didn't it?
So thankfully, Nikolai Markovits was able to still open the door and step away from the incident, maybe just a little shocked or winded, and straight to the aid of, or the marshals were straight to Nicolas' aid. It means that we're not going to see Adrien Pavio in this race, who is the bronze within that combination. They enter as Pro-Am, therefore, because it's a silver, who Nicolas is, and Pavio bronze. So Adrien, assuming they can fix that car, will start the second race later in the day. Meanwhile, this is the other car that was involved in that incident, the 33 360 competition, Christian Brooks. And it looks like actually Christian's got away with that incident. He has on his tail Matteo Pianazzola, who's already got to do an extra 5 seconds during his pit stop, and they were investigating.
Safety car deployed, safety car deployed.
Oh, so it's
safety
not going to...
car, you will enter.
So that incident at turn 9 is now going to be dealt with a safety car, and all of a sudden the 3.5 seconds that Romain Bacla has been building up disappears. We're a minute away from the pit stop window as well.
Well, dramas then.
Safety car, by the way, in this does not close the pit lane, so you can continue to pit during that 7-minute segment.
The Cupra safety car, and just as the 27 Team Virage car looks to be done, I'm afraid, for this race. Rather stealthy safety car, although the stealth is rather undermined by the flashing lights on top.
Gives it away.
Really?
Yeah.
Otherwise, no one would know.
Indeed. Now, that safety car does have the capability of, I did not know, but show a green light on the roof of that car if necessary. If it's picked up the wrong car, the green light will mean you are able to overtake the safety car.
It looks like there's a slight thermal incident underway with the 84. It might well be some kind of fluid leak. It might have had a minor ignition. Let's hope minor ignition.
That looked like foam possibly being utilised to put that out. Electrical fire.
Meantime, has picked up not the correct car, but that will be dealt with. The first thing to do is get the field under control, and then race control with the safety car team will get us in good order.
Although, was the instruction to the safety car driver, you've got to pick up the birthday boy?
Oh, but you'd like to see, wouldn't he? But there's probably a message in the rear screen of the Cupra. Happy birthday, Jack.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Jacques. So it was the HP Racing by M Racing 58.
Can't pick up Roman Berkler because he's on pit lane.
Okay, so this is going to be slightly more tricky, therefore. Eco Segre now scored as the race leader.
Worth actually saying, by the way, while we get a moment, because we've not seen much of Roman Berkler since he took the lead. He is the winner of the junior challenge in the JS Cup France, and the prize for that is effectively, here's a JS P4 for the Ligier European Series. It's not the same as the other awards which are still in place. We'll talk about those in due course because they've been a massive part of growing this field. But Roman Berkler, effectively, here's a car for the season in JS P4, and at the moment he's utilising that very well. Gaggle of cars on pit lane, Johnny.
They've all come in at pretty much the first opportunity, and the fact that the pace of the race has been somewhat slowed, sedated, and therefore everybody is able to come in, and it might have been actually that one or two backed off for the opportunity to pit as they came through turn 13. So getting the pit stop done as early as possible. One or two other cars might be thinking, well, it's a bit too busy at the moment. We'll allow neighbours either in front or behind neighbouring, not strictly garages, because the ELMS cars are there.
All cars may overtake the safety car. All cars may overtake the safety car.
But through the use of trolleys and quad bikes, the crews that are based in the main paddock in awnings brought all of their kit to the front of the garages to be able to do these pit stops as quickly as possible. And now, it's going to be a tricky process in terms of how we restart this race. We don't have the complication, of course, of now longer pit stops for a silver-silver combination, for instance. There are just 2 minimum pit stop times that we need to worry about. 105 seconds. Here's the incident again that happened a moment or two ago for Nikola Markovits. Very little that Nikola could do because of that broken steering on the front right-hand corner. So, just looking at some of the times that are being completed now. 105 seconds, which is a minute and 25. And I believe the other time we need to worry about is a minute and 20. There was a bit of conversation during the driver's briefing as to precisely which the other time was. It's 5 seconds either way, depending on whether you've got a single driver or a double driver. The theory behind that is that 2 drivers can spend a little shorter time in the pit lane, because if you're sticking with the same driver, they're already in the zone, they already know the track conditions, the tyres and whatnot, so therefore the pit stop is 5 seconds longer for a single driver, and we've already established there are 8 of those. So what I'm looking for now are pit stops that are done to 100 seconds potentially. So we'll wait and see on that.
Part of the problem you're going to see with these pit stop times is we've just had this gaggle of cars held for the safety car to come by. So that's not going to help you visually. And it's going to take some little while because it's not picked up the race leader because of that, just the way this has cycled through. So it is a bit of a challenge here for race control just to get this sorted. There will, I'm sure, be other cars passing this safety car to rejoin the queue. So it'll take a little while to get this sorted. As you can see there, we've not yet got the 84 car quite into a place of safety. but they're working that problem. Once they've worked that, we'll get the field in the correct order and under control. Roman Berkler, though, has cycled back to the lead of this race. Don't worry a moment, if you're watching online on live timing, as I know a lot of you do, that's available, of course, through the Ligier European Series webpage. Lots of information there that I urge you, if you're a fan of this, and why wouldn't you be, to take a look at in due course. So, just trying to get this damaged car. He's got at least one non-functioning corner, as well as some bodywork that's very much awry at the other front corner. Yuki Tanaka has got back out of the car.
Yeah, well, see, there's a minimum drive time required for points, but the concern about the Pegasus racing car, number 16, is they're not going to be in the points, unfortunately. This is effectively the wave by to reset
there
the
you
field.
go, that's the green light you were talking about, the rear of the Cupra. Again, undermining that stealthy capability of the car.
Yeah, so it's still amber when we look at the car
Leader,
from the front.
car 22, please stay behind the safety car. Leader of the race car 22, stay behind the safety car.
So Roman Berkler given strict instructions to stay there.
And there he is.
And where's the number 6 car? Maxwell Dodds should be the next in the sequence, although of course one or two cars that might be locked in now being laps down include Dario Cabanillas, which is the Team Virage number 1 car, and Cabanillas will not be allowed to go through.
It's a lap down. Yes, absolutely spot on. There is the blue and white Team Virage car. Not the regular colours we expect to see from, well, the most successful team in Ligier European Series history.
Involving car 33 and 84 at T9 is under review.
Car 33 and 84, which was the approach to turn 9, which caused this safety car. It caused Nikolai Markovic the breakage of the steering, spearing the car off into the scenery, and sadly Markovic and indeed his teammate Pavio now out of the race.
So that is now 3 incidents we're aware they're under review. There was the incident that befell Andrew Alcabaisi. There's the incident with the number 60 car taking advantage. And there's now this 3rd incident with 33 and 84 at T9. So it remains to be seen what will happen there. There is the remaining Trajectus JS2 R on pit lane. .26 minutes to go. And Roman Berkler it is that leads the race behind the safety car. As others are still powering around to join the safety car queue. The important thing, Johnny, in the aftermath of an incident is get the field under control. That's what race control did. But unfortunately for race control, 2 things then conspired to make this safety car period a little longer than otherwise it might be. The first was it was right on top of the pit window opening. And the second was that you've then got this gaggle of cars just as they've done the wave by to try to pick up the leader. They'd done the wave by, but then there's a gaggle of cars on pit lane that were delayed in their release and then needed a second wave by effectively. Still struggling to get this car to a place of safety. And racing. That is in Van Muller. It is in Van Muller.
Yeah, for certain cars, I don't think it's for Ligier European Series, but possibly for the ELMS. He's going to be on lollipop duty.
Yes, a lot of that. Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Loves a lollipop.
Loves a lollipop.
Yeah.
So, you know, the amount of world championships Ivan Muller has, and not too concerned about, you know, dropping down the rankings within the team.
No.
And doing something as simple as, well, I suppose it's not necessarily simple, because you've got to make sure that all of the stuff's been done in the pit stop before waving that car away. So it's a job with responsibility for Ivan.
It is. You know, and also racing another team that have got cars in multiple championships on this card. We have here this weekend something like 130 race cars in this paddock. It's a fantastic scene. With the European Le Mans Series, racing back into that for the first time as a full season entrant for several years. The Michelin Le Mans Cup, you'll see the qualifying of the race of that later. and here in the Ligier European Series, as well as here, Porsche Carrera Cup France. Almost there, you can see why they've been struggling with the damage to the front of the car for the stricken number 84 car. But this is part of, I think, why this is becoming more and more successful, the Ligier European Series. It gives these teams, and in no small part these drivers, an opportunity for another rung on the ladder to draw teams and drivers and their sponsors into endurance racing. And that is a very good thing indeed, Johnny Palmer.
Just looking back again to the fact that we've got this minimum pit stop time, I can't see anyone that's done 1:40 during the pit stop. There's one or two that might have breached 1:45. 105 seconds, i.e. 1:45, was mentioned in the driver's briefing. Now, if that's the quicker of the two stops, i.e. for two drivers, that would rather indicate that Romain Bacla, as a lone driver, needed to do 110 seconds. So my eye is drawn to 1:49 for Romain Bacla, but without having the information completely at my fingertips, I don't want to say too much in that regard. The number 6 car for Eco Segre, that's been handed over to Max Dodds, and they have done a 1:46. So it rather suggests that for two drivers, 1:45 is the limit. Bacla, I think, should have done at least 1:50, and it might be 1:49.999. But if you're beneath 1:50, there is a potential there for Bacla to have to come in and serve an extra second. That could potentially be a big story in this race, if I'm right. My concern may be entirely in the wrong area there, but we will wait and see for any further messages regarding the race leader, number 22.
And you also have to take into account, whilst our friends at Alcabel, fantastic partners they've been to this package, it's not unknown for there to be a timing fault on a screen.
Oh, yeah.
So we wait for race control to tell us. The lights, though, on the safety car, I'm delighted to say, are out.
The other concerning one for me is the number 1 car of Dario Cabanelas, a 1:44. Now, that's a two-driver car, but 1:44 is a second beneath what it should be as a 1:45, my understanding at least.
Okay.
I'll insert that caveat. Anyway, we have 21 minutes still to go in the race. Everybody's been bunched up because of this mid-race safety car.
And indeed, good proportion of this grid are now with the second drivers aboard, so we'll be hearing some different names. We're about to go back to green flag racing, though, Johnny Palmer.
Yeah, so Max Dodds not all over the back of the race leader, because remember, car number 1 is a lap down, but it will not stop necessarily the one car proving a distraction for Romain Bacla as we go for a restart. But concentrate on the white, red and black number 6, now in the hands of Maxwell Dodds for A&S Motorsport. And here comes the car that's a lap down. That will actually make things simpler for Bacla if he can allow the number 1 car through. Don't get tangled up with a car, though, that is actually not a concern. He's got to take to the escape road. Now, will that give the race lead back to the number 6? It will not. In fact, car number 22...
Big wiggle there from the leader, though, in recovering, because it got
through the gravel.
The
yeah, through the dirty stuff. And here then comes Max Dodds down the inside. Cabanelas still getting involved in the sky blue and black car, not on the lead lap, we'll remind you. And the 22 using every inch of the road available for Romain Bacla, as now Max Dodds cannot get ahead of the lapped car.
Watch Matisse Poulet in 3rd place here, the number 19, 4th in this queue. As through goes Maxwell Dodds on the lapped number 1 car. The opportunity for the Virage car to unlap himself for the moment gone. Fighting back, though, and retakes the on-track position. So Maxwell Dodds must be absolutely ruining his luck in having the number 1 Virage car, which has clearly got pace. Trying to get back onto the lead lap, but Romain Bacla is going to make that very difficult. Meantime, side by side for 2nd place, 19 and the number 6 car, Matisse Poulet, looking to get past Maxwell Dodds, and he does that. 4 wide here in the middle order, with the lead group of JS2Rs and a couple of recovering JS P4s.
We didn't speak a great deal about Laura Villas, who started that number 1 car. She's a silver driver, though, as well. So French woman and then Swiss Dario Cabanelas, who's taken over. And Cabanelas really showing everybody else the sort of speed that the number 1 car could have had if they didn't have those mid-race dramas. Side by side further back as well, which is the number 3 car of Michelin Le now, side by side with, they're necessarily on the same lap, the 33 of Christopher Preen in 360 competition.
Yeah, battle here for 5th for the Nielsen Racing car, now in the hands of Josh Steed. Christopher Preen in the 360 competition car. Together, the 2 British teams battling away. 18 minutes to go. It's just all of a sudden they've lit the blue touch paper and this race fully lit again. That's number 1 Team Virage car proving to be quite the pick.
Yeah, so that wasn't American driver Michael Bulzachelli in the LR Motorsport car. You're right that it was Josh Steed and Chris Preen side by side.
This was the number 1 car briefly unlapping himself.
Yes.
Then lost a bit of the rear, almost forced wide there. I think that's okay. I think he's done what they're supposed to do, to take that escape road.
There were, at the start of the race, there were 2 bollards right at the end of that escape road on driver's right, but I think they were cleaned out probably on the first lap. So the instruction is then you go as far. I wonder
if that was the 60, probably the 60. Did he take out the bollard?
Well, yeah, but if he's being involved in an incident at turn 2, turn 2's rejoining before you can get to the bollard. Anyway, but there is still an instruction from Pauline Scoff, the race director, to say if the bollards aren't there anymore, you have to continue to the green grasscrete before you then rejoin. It's all about not landing back on the track in the middle of a battle, which is trying to go through turn 2, and you're going to force somebody radically off the racing line. It's
safety, safety, safety. I mean, unsafe rejoin is the phrase we often hear.
Yeah.
2 JS2 Rs here. There's a bit of a stumble there for the number 17 car, and that's allowed the 94 to get onto terms. Pegasus Racing's Alan Meyer and Enrique Cruz. Side by side briefly. Here, though, is our race leader, and after all those dramas, a little bit of calm has descended again for Roman Berkler.
And the Trajectors Motorsport JS P4, which did rather struggle in the opening stint. I don't remember the 19 car being up in the top 6 for the first half an hour, but it's there now. Don't get that confused with the number 1 car, which is still a lap down and in the hands of Dario Cabanelas.
And we are being told there are cars 1 that is that blue and white Team Virage car and our race leader under investigation for the pit stop. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm right, Johnny. Typically speaking, that has meant a drive-through, or does it mean an additional time penalty?
I think it's making up the time you did not serve, and it's rounded down as well. So if it's displayed as a 1 minute 49, which it is, it might be in reality 49.9, but you have to come in and serve 1 second. We'll get an answer in a minute.
It's run through pit lane that's going to do the damage. The incident, by the way, involving car 33 and the 84 Trajectors car will be investigated after the race, causing a collision. We saw that side by side between the carbon black 33 and the Trajectors JS2 R that took the 84 out of the race.
So Beckler leads for the time being, but only under investigation. Unfortunately, it's one of those investigations that so typically results in a penalty. Black and white issue rather than the more difficult ones to judge by the stewards. 3.4 seconds the gap, though, Beckler back to Mathis Poulet. And it might be that Poulet versus Dodds becomes the lead battle, therefore. 19 versus car number 6 is less than a second.
Side by side here. And through goes the purple car with the orange roof.
Now that was Cindy Goudet's car last year. I'm pretty sure it is still the Cindy Goudet number 68.
It is.
For M Racing.
Making up places there, Cindy. August Turbo, the next target for the M Racing car. The 23 Events Racing number 57. Oh! Side by side became rather front to side, and that has put the number 50 car off the track, and that will be unable to rejoin from the second place car.
Second place, yeah. So Goudet wasn't on the lead lap, so take that one out. It was actually the green car of Enzo Caldaras who was leading for VSF Sports, and that was the second place fight. Antoine Lupescu, who's had a spin. Was it Riccitelli that?
Riccitelli, who had been leading the race, hadn't he? So he's lost ground in the pit stop somehow. That may well be a result of just the timing of the pit stop and being held.
We have yellow flag at T4, yellow flag at T4. The car is stopped on the left-hand side.
Not going to be able to get out there, digging itself into the gravel. I think we may see the safety car again here, Johnny.
So Lupescu dropping down the order. Simone Riccitelli has gained that position, but not before some contact, a pretty severe contact at turn 4, to leave Lupescu on the sidelines. That has elevated Florian Telais in the second of the VSF Sports cars to third position.
We'll add, by the way, we have got the first results that car is going to recovery and pretty rapidly as well. Car 60 causing a collision at turn 2, lap 1. No further action, so no further dramas for the car that currently occupies 4th place in the hands now of Gregorio Bertoccio. This is what.
It was a half moment for the 50 car, which kind of opened the door, but then
safety car deployed.
As Riccitelli went for it,
leader to slow down.
Was there necessarily the full width of a JS2R there? Contact made, Antoine Lupescu spun through 180 degrees and then backwards into, well, partly the gravel, partly the grass, but then could not restart the car.
I'd be interested to see if that's judged by race control.
It was all happening behind Cindy Goudet, who, as mentioned, is running in 6th place, but was not on the lead lap. Doing nothing wrong, but actually it was the job then of Enzo Caldaras, who was leading JS2R, plus those 2 cars that made contact to get by Cindy Goudet's car safely. And Cindy also carrying some good speed. This is the purple number 68 with the red roof and door mirrors. And the VSF sports car for Enzo Caldaras, with the Massive sponsor on the front, so I'm going to call that car the VSF Massive, I think, for the rest of the season.
That's your choice. It's a brave one.
I don't know whether that's how it's pronounced, but it looks like it is to me.
They'll be telling you.
The Massive. Anyway, so Caldares tucked in behind Goudet and trying to find a way by. Obviously can't at the moment because we're on a safety car, the second safety car of the race. And here is Antoine Lupescu's car being towed out. Will be allowed to rejoin.
Indeed.
If the engine will restart, and it has done.
Immediately, so away he goes.
Is that rear right down, though?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Left a lot of gravel across the road there at turn 4, so that's going to be a little precarious as they take the restart.
This again. I'm not sure that I don't see that as somewhat self-inflicted wound.
I think Lupescu had a slight moment on braking, so the car squirmed very slightly. It meant that the car was further left than Antoine wanted, and then maybe a bit too late.
All cars to close the gap. All cars to close the gap.
And there was the contact, but it's very tough to work out, and it's thankfully not our job to do so.
Yeah, so the car, of all these cars that this is the worst news for, is of course Romain Berkelot. Number 1. His actual lead has come down again, but number 2 is
all cars to close the gaps.
And with the whole field now being backed up, that's a much bigger disaster should he have to come down pit lane.
Yeah.
What's been a pretty dominant performance could end up with nothing.
Yeah.
And we know it's a short season, but there are plenty of points to be gained here. Hayden Chance and
safety car in this lap. Safety car in this lap.
Our champions from last year. Both have made their way through. You'll see them both in action later today. You catch up with us, and why wouldn't you, for the Michelin Le Mans Cup in different cars, by the way. The 2 championship winners from the Ligier European Series last season.
And different teams,
indeed.
More to the point. So it's not as if they've been split within Team Virage. You cannot take a penalty, and therefore Romain Berkelot cannot make his pit stop to do the penalty under a safety car.
He's not been given a penalty yet.
Oh, good point, yes. So I won't pursue that. But actually what I was going to say was anybody who gets a penalty under a safety car, you actually then can't follow the safety car into pit lane either. You have to do one lap coming out of the safety car.
There's contact front to rear between the second and third place cars there. Get on with it, I think, was Maxwell Dodds. He's trying to boss the second place car. He's managed to do that.
Yeah.
He's going to come into turn one in second place in this race. But there was contact before we went green, front to rear between the second and third place cars. Also trying up the inside of the number 60 car of Gregorio Petoccio. He's not made it through into third, but he's putting the third place car under pressure. Feisty stuff at the moment. Roman Berkler again pulls away, but will that be enough with the circumstances we think are being dealt to him? It's great to see, Johnny, such a deep field of JS P4s here. Top 12 cars are all JS P4s. Amna Halkabaisi, by the way, has made her way up into the top 10 in the point scoring position from that turn one problem. Sideways moment there for the number 4 Nielsen Racing car, Josh Steed.
I think the scope for multiple winners in both classes this year is significant.
Well,
we had dominating drivers last year, and rightfully so. But you know, different drivers, different driver combinations are going to be stronger and weaker depending on which tracks we're going to month to month.
And the other thing is, we've got a lot of fairly inexperienced racers here, and you're going to see increasing speed and racecraft through the year. Up the inside, 33 on 16. That is a change on track, but that is a lapped car, the number 16. Sidney Goudet, by the way, in the 68 car, under pressure, runs wide and is side by side with the number 7 car. That's the leader. So Sidney Goudet is a lap down.
She is, yeah. Yeah, so that whole incident that happened behind her as well was possibly as a result of the concertina effect. She's doing nothing wrong because she's got some good speed. Again, I think the 68 is not deserving of being necessarily lapped down. She might have got caught in the pit lane because of where the safety car was the first time around.
But this is causing dramas because there is a lead battle behind her. The green car there is the second place car and is going to get the better run down to turn one, albeit there is a gap here. Car 22, meanwhile, 5-second time penalty added at the end of the race for the incident at turn one.
That was with the lapped car, number 1 of Caballeras.
So
that's unrelated to the pit stop. That's
already a penalty. So that's a 5-second gap that needs to be eked out by car 22. And it's not there yet with 6 minutes to go. And there might be more drama to come for Ron Berkler. Further problems here and pulling off the circuit under the new bridge, isn't it?
Yes, so the run into turn 10, that's Henry Cruz of Chefo Sport in the number 17 JS2 R. He was running in 8th position, and the 74 car is off into the gravel now for Carl Pedrazza for the Loire Valley Racing Crew, team based just outside of Tours. For the Andorran driver. And
now we get the other penalty, and it is a stop and go plus 1 second for car 22. Utter disaster for the race leader, and this is going to hand a mighty advantage to the second place battle between the number 6 and number 19. So we now need to shift our attention there, Johnny, as we see the battle for the lead in JS2R still bottled up behind Cindy Goudet. All sorts of dramas here.
So will Berkler come in and serve actually 6 seconds? So he serves the 5 and the 1 at the same time.
No, he said 5 after the race.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, to be honest, it's 6 and 2 3s, isn't it? Doesn't really matter how you soak that up. It's going to be hugely damaging.
His race is done.
And the point that you made about the safety car and the bunching up of the field has made the whole situation worse. Now here's the fight for the race lead, because down the inside, Enzo Caldares will be across the line marginally in front, but Simone Riccitelli's not. Oh, no, hang on a minute. We're into another safety car, that's why. So the place change was crucial there, because if the race ends under a safety car, we've only got 4.5 minutes to go. That might be the 25 points going the way of the number 18 of Caldares.
So let's have a look. It was run slightly wide from Riccitelli. It was a great run off the final turn. Now where do the safety car boards come out? I think he was ahead. There's no boards. There's no boards. He's taken the lead. Timing absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Lucky, but perfect. And there is the safety car board.
The only question is, where is the control line and the start line? And was the green car ahead at the control line, i.e. the finish line? Because that's probably the thing that matters. Although when a safety car comes out, I suppose an overtake can happen anywhere around the track.
It can. I think he's done it.
It's not necessarily judged to the finish line. He was ahead before the boards came out, so I think legitimately, and Simone Riccitelli backed off, knowing that he was now in second place.
I think that's just won him the race, because I don't think we're going to get this back to green flag running in time. We've got two cars in trouble on track. Here comes the Cupra. It's had quite an adventurous morning, hasn't it, so far?
I haven't met all of the drivers for the 2025 season, but I wonder whether that was Lucas Papin on the pit wall there going, was that it?
Yes,
was that us winning the race there and then?
I think it was.
There was a grin to the camera, knowingly perhaps. Simone Riccitelli is a solo driver, but the 18 has two pilots, and Lucas Papin had been driving particularly well in that opening stint. I remember him setting the fastest lap at the time within the JS2 R category.
Well, this has killed Romain Berkler's race stone dead.
Because now he has got a penalty to serve, as in the 1 second penalty to top up the pit stop time. He cannot do that under a safety car, so that's going to have to be added in some respects.
Well, the other thing,
it's a drive-through and a penalty to be added to the race time.
Even if he didn't have that penalty, the 5 second penalty, which would have put him down to third, would now put him down to sixth.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not that, as we famously say in WCTV. Once, as both cars under tow, we might get it back. Where is the safety car at the moment on track? No, I'm not certain we're going to get this.
No, just into the second sector, in fact. And this was the first incident which has gleaned or assessed a 5 second penalty. Was it rejoining in the incorrect place? That looked okay from that perspective, but. Anyway, there was an incident at turn 1 with car 1. It was actually listed as 22 and car 1 involved in an incident. And for that, Romain Berkler gets a 5 second penalty to be added to the race time.
It almost doesn't matter, because the bigger issue is the pit stop mistake from Loire Valley Racing. And they'll rue that moment.
I think because
it was a moment.
They could have afforded to have been maybe 3 seconds slower than the designated time.
Well, it's a learning curve, isn't it?
This
is their first time in the Ligier European Series. They're another of the teams that has, if you like, graduated. They stay in JS Cup France as well, which is an all JS2R championship. This is their first time in this mixed class racing, and these are the lessons you learn very hard indeed. And from what has been, I have to say, in terms of the performance of the driver and the car, a dominant performance from Romain Berkler. 2 mistakes have absolutely atomised his morning.
So a bit more waiting to be done, because the safety car is going to go on to another lap with 30 seconds remaining. It's just approaching turn 14 now. Not safe for us. A safety car in this lap.
Ooh.
Safety car in this lap. So we are going to get one more racing lap. And Romain Berkler cannot follow the safety car into pit lane to serve the penalty. No, having said that, are we going to get another racing lap? 10 seconds to go. It's about the control line, not the start line. The control line's quite early on. There it is.
We go.
We are going to get another lap. And it's now the last lap confirmed on our timing screen. So 30 in total. And Romain Berkler not given the opportunity, but it could yet change in JS2R.
Because Cindy Goudet was bottling those two up there side by side over start-finish line. It's going to be 3 wide in turn 1, Johnny.
Cannot get by Cindy Goudet though still, and there's another car there as well, which is the 57 for August Turbo, not on the lead lap. So this is having to deal with traffic, but within your own category. Down the inside, Lucas Papin's grin has suddenly disappeared on the pit wall, because Enzo Caldaras has a big responsibility to hold off Simone Riccitelli. He threads his way through those cars that are not on the lead lap expertly well, and he's kind of locked Riccitelli out of it now.
Great stuff, though. Who would have thought we're going to get a last lap here? What drama might still come? Ricciarelli must be the most frustrated man on track. Meantime, not done for second place here, which is effectively for the win. At the moment, second place on the road. Maxwell Dodds under pressure from Mathis Poulet. A&S Motorsports number 6 for the 19 of Trajectus Motorsport. Is it going to be A&S, this expanded two-car effort and their lead car here, or is it going to be the debuting Trajectus Motorsport from Benoit Treluet's team who's going to bring home the first race win of 2025?
Gregorio Bertocco's sniffing around a podium as well. I think he's just a bit too distant in that yellow and black Iron Lynx by Emma racing car, because they're now heading out of turns 10 and 11 and 12 to head to the line in a moment or two. So Roman Buckler on the road will cross the line in front, but it's all about this fight for second position, which will become the race win for Max Dodds, who crosses the line now. Mathis Poulet in second for Trajectus Motorsport, for Benoit Treluet's team in their debut in the Ligier European Series. And what an excellent fight in JS2R. It's Enzo Caldaras together with his teammate Lucas Papin in the green and white VSF sports car, winning it in number 18 from Simone Ricciarelli, who just could not get beyond the 57 car of August Turbo and Cindy Goudet's number 68. They actually finish in the top 6 as well, but a lap down compared to the Caldaras and Papin combination. Ricciarelli therefore second, and in fact another car for VSF Sports on the podium, which is the 41 car of Florian Tillet and Tristan Clay.
Well, that's another of our debuting teams, Simon Paulet's team, I believe, VSF Sports. And so Caldaras takes that win. Brilliant battle between those two cars. Drive-through converted into a time penalty for car 7. Meanwhile, that is the LR Motorsport
from the podium.
So that is going to mean that it's going to be a VSF 1-2. Wow. And
that will promote
Cindy. Will it?
Yeah, because she was a lap down in the end. So that
we'll wait for that
to be seen, doesn't it? Because of the distance between the number 7 and the 68. It might be that Ricciarelli had enough in hand to soak that penalty up and just will switch from second on the podium down to third.
So Ico Sibre from pole position takes the race win with our debuting British driver Maxwell Dodds. So silver-silver combination for A&S Motorsport. My apologies, I was confusing them with its ASM Motorsport that have come this year with a two-car effort. But A&S Motorsport's cracking start to their season. Cracking start too for Trajectus Motorsport. And their number 19 car, Mathis Poulet, brings the car home. Shares that car with Vincent Boutellier. Here we go. This was the defining incident.
So an incident at the first corner that involved car 1, so I think that has to be it, earning a 5-second penalty initially, and then the bigger problem was a 1 minute and 49 second pit stop, which was a second shorter than it needed to be.
Second place car, car 19, drive-through penalty converted to a time penalty, track limits.
Which we didn't read at the time. So that's going to change the podium hugely as well. And that's now been corrected, in fact, on timing and scoring.
So it's Iron Lynx by M Racing that finished this race second.
So that means we lost 2 from the podium, because Bertocco was 4th a moment or 2 ago. So Gregorio Bertocco promoted from 4th to 2nd, and that will bring the ASM Motorsport cars, 2 of them, one onto the podium, the car number 12 for Ruben Hage and Luis Perez, the Mexican, and the second of the ASM Motorsport cars to 4th position, number 44.
Yeah,
Roman keeping up.
Yeah, Roman Berkler, by the way, the drive-through plus 1 second converted to a time penalty, and he drops actually below the 19. They finished now 13th and 14th overall, 11th and 12th in JS P4. That bodes well for the remainder of the season, because they are 2 cars that have not scored, Johnny, and will be in pretty dominant form later.
So this is still a provisional result, but somewhat corrected from what we saw, the order of the cars as they came across the line. It's a win for ANS Motorsport, Eco Segre and Maxwell Dodds. Then Gregorio Bertocco and Matteo Pianazzola. They were a combo last year in JS2R and now step up to JS P4 with a second-place finish in their first race. And then a combination of Mexico and the UK in third position for Ruben Hage and Luis Carlos Perez. And changes for fourth position as well. So an ASM Motorsport 3-4 in JS P4. VSF Sports get a 1-2 finish in the JS2Rs. Congratulations to that bright green car for Tristan Clay and not Tristan Clay, beg your pardon, for Lucas Papin and Enzo Caldares. And they finish ahead of their VSF Sports teammates, Florian Tilas and Tristan Clay. Feels like the fallout from that race will continue for a couple of hours yet, but there is a second race to look forward to for the Ligier European Series, all part of Heat 1 here in Barcelona. So you can join us after the lunch break, a little bit later on in the day, for the reverse drivers beginning. So those drivers that are two pilots into each car, they will get an opportunity. If they were in second for the first race of the day, they will start the second race of the day. But this is what happened in the early stages. A slight outbreaking for the Team Virage entry for Vic Stevens, the Belgian. And Vic, sadly, into the pits quite early on in this one. But the 27 was a fast car. Then a melee right in the middle, which we never really got to the bottom of, but Hamda Al-Kubaizi spinning and eventually rejoining, thankfully, before the safety car needed to be deployed in the very early stages of this race. We would subsequently have a number of safety car periods, though. Matteo Pianazzola in the number 60 Iron Lynx car doing battle with Ben Casely and Perry in the number 3 car. That's Pietro Ferri, I should say, the Italian, sharing with Michael Bulzachelli, the American driver, both silvers in car number 3. And still 3 versus 4, so Ferry up against Ben Casely continued on. Then some side-to-side contact in JS2R for the 23 events racing car of August Turbo. And there was plenty of actually side-by-side contact that most cars got away with, apart from this incident, which resulted in a big off for the 84 car, the Trajectus Motorsport of Nikola Markovic, way before Adrian Pavio took the car over. And sadly, it took away a quick car in this race. Let's hope that that is fixable in time for the race later on this afternoon. We got going after a safety car, and there was a slight bit of confusion regarding a car that was a lap down, but very quick in the hands of Dario Cabanelas. And Cabanelas did not want to give up any more real estate than was necessary, so caused certainly a distraction for our leading cars at the time. The same goes for Cindy Goudet, who was about to go a lap down compared to the bright green and white car that was leading JS2R at the time. And Enzo Caldares, who took over the green and white car, needing to fend off LR Motorsports' Simone Riccitelli. And Riccitelli then made contact with the 50 Le Dusab car of Antoine Lupescu that he shares with Noah D'Acunha. Lupescu not out of the race, but off the road and causing the second safety car, leading the marshals to put him back onto hard standing. And the 7 car subsequently receiving a penalty as well, which would alter the podium. And then there was the question of whether the number 18 could get ahead of the Riccitelli car at the crucial moment. We wondered going into the final safety car of the race whether this would determine the exact moment of the lead change and therefore the win for JS2R, but we would have one more racing lap, which made things very interesting in the JS2Rs particularly. However, across the road as the leading car, but then to begin getting penalties, was the 22. So the win in the end would go the way of the really well performing crew of
second one will be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The second podium, 3 o'clock today. Also, only today to race the Ligier European Series. In 2 minutes, 2 minutes, we will start the first podium today. There are several podiums. Overall absolute, the scratch absolute, JS P4, JS2 R, Pro-Am and Am. Estamos a la espera, Vamos llamando pues a más público, gente, los que estáis pasando por el paddock, que os acercáis a esta área del Ligier, la Ligier European Series, que empieza aquí en el circuito de Barcelona, Cataluña. Una nueva temporada, la del 2025. Y de momento ya tenemos un primer líder, con esa victoria para Lico Segret y Maxwell Dodds, una combinación francesa y británica que se ha llevado la victoria. Van llegando ya todos. ¿Qué tal? Benvinguts, doncs. I veiem a Vivendum Michelin. Bienvenue. Il y a beaucoup de Français. Bonjour à tous les Français. Bienvenue à le podium de la Ligier European Series, la première course de 2025. Okay, let's start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first podium, the award ceremony of the Ligier European Series 2025. The first category will be the overall of JS P4. In the third place, for the number 12, ASM Motorsport, Luis Carlos Pérez. Ahí está el mexicano con el británico Ruben H. ¡Wow! Congratulations, enhorabuena también para Luis Carlos Pérez, el mexicano. In the second place, number 60, Iron Links by M Racing, Matteo Pianezzola, equipo italiano con Gregorio Bertocco. ¡Grande! Ahí está Italy team. Congratulations, complimenti. And the winner, number 6, Lico Segret and Maxwell Dodds. Combinación francesa y británica. Congratulations al team, winning team, ANS Motorsport. In honor of the winner, we will listen the national anthem of France. Ok, félicitations pour l'équipe française. The winner, numéro 6, number 6, Eco Secret, Maxwell Dodds. Up trophy, ok. Foto, family photo de recuerdo, primera clasificación de first leader. Congratulations, number 6, Eco Secret, Maxwell Dodds. In the second place, number 60, Matteo Pianezzola, Gregorio Bertocco, el equipo italiano. En la tercera posición, the third place, number 12, Luis Carlos Pérez, el mexicano, con el británico Ruben H. Ok, congratulations. Thank you very much. A big applause. Okay, thank you. The next podium, JS P4 Pro-Am. Chains, new bottles, new trophies. Okay, JS P4 Pro-Am, the winner, number 33. Big applause. Christopher Prin and Christian Brooks. 360 competition. Congratulations, team. Ahí están. Congratulations, the first position, JSP4AM. Okay, after the photo. Okay, thank you very much. And the last podium in category JS P4. Now AM. Only the winner, JS P4 AM, number 58, Jacques Nicolet. Sur le monde, pour le pilote français, à toute l'équipe, à le team HP Racing by M Racing. Okay. Okay, photo and finish. Okay, thank you very much. Finish JS P4. Continue. JS2 R. Okay. In the third place, new bottles, new champagne after the second race evening. Okay, now JS2R in the third place, number 7, LR Motorsport, Simone Riccitelli from Italian. Riccitelli. Waiting. No problem. It's here. Ok, sembla doncs que ha arribat. Ok, doncs vamos, ahora sí. El podium JS2 R category in third place. Number 7, LR Motorsport. El piloto italiano, ahí está Simone Riccitelli. Enhorabuena, complimenti. La terza posición. Vámonos, the second place, number 41, BSF Sports, Florian Telle and Tristan Clay. C'est pour les deux Français. Bienvenue, félicitations, Florian Telle and Tristan Clay. And the winner, JS2 R, number 18, BSF Sports, Lucas Papen, Enzo Calderas. Wow! Félicitations à les autres Français, à tous les teams de BSF Sport. And in honor of the winner, listen to the national anthem of France. Ok, félicitations pour les Français. Après écouter l'hymne français, la Marseillaise. Bienvenue a tous les champions, los tres primeros clasificados. In the third place, number 7, Italian driver Simone Riccitelli. In the second place, number 41, Florian Telle and Tristan Clay. The winner, felicitations, vencedores. Number 18, Lucas Papen, Enzo Calderas. Je ne finis pas. JS2 R Pro-Am. The winner, Pro-Am, number 94, Pegasus Racing, Jordan Meyer, Allen Meyer, family Meyer. Congratulations, félicitations à tout l'équipe. Pegasus Racing, number 94. Okay. Après le podium, seulement manquant le dernier, last podium today, the first race, JS2 R. The winner, number 41, BSF Sports, Florian Telle and Tristan Clay. Ahí está también el equipo. Felicitaciones por todo el equipo. Number 41, BSF Sports, Florian Telle and Tristan Clay. The second overall absolute. And the winner also, JS2 R. Okay, finish the second race. In the paddock here in the podium, 3 o'clock, 5 minutes 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock, the next podium. The second race, Ligier. Okay, felicitations, congratulations. The winners, Ligier European Series.